Good evening, junkies. Welcome to EminiJunkie.com, your ES Trading Mentor's free trading video for Tuesday, October 4th, 2011. Today we had a total of 18 executable trade signals for a max potential of 52 ES ticks. This video is for educational purposes only, is intended to highlight our high probability trade setups and give you a feel for the quantity of trades taken each trading day using this approach. A full trading plan and daily live trading room can be accessed via our website at EminiJunkie.com. Okay, we opened up this morning at 1077.50. We had a large move down yesterday. We gapped down again this morning, although our gap was what we would consider within our high probability gap fill. So there was pressure on the market this morning to move higher, until which point we fill that gap, as there's a high probability that that gap will close during the morning session. Well, today added all kinds of volatility, and let me just start off by saying 18 might be, a record for number of trades that this system fires within a day. That's a lot of trades, a lot more than what we typically see, and it was a very difficult day because these swings were fast and the moves were quick, and there was a lot of extensions. So I'm going to walk you through all the setups, all the signals, and just keep in mind that it was a very high-paced day, a lot of stress. There was a lot going on, and the chances of you hitting all of these I don't think would be all that great. So anyway, as the market started off this morning, there was a little push higher. We came down through our moving average, had a nice swing entry right around 945, 950 or so. Targets 1 and targets 2 to the downside for 12 ticks. And then we got into the 10 o'clock reversal time frame, and a lot of times the markets will reverse at 10 o'clock. And today there was a lot of activity, and that was due to the news announcement. And you can see right here there was this parabolic move to the upside, set up an extension, made our first contract, and then ended up getting stopped out of that. Then a equally fast move to the downside, set up an extension. That particular one hit targets 1 and targets 2 for 8 ticks. Another fast move to the upside. Now this doesn't look like much, but these swings here are almost 10 points wide. I mean, this is a 9-point wide swing up, followed by what, 7.5. So these are large swings. Another extension entry to the upside. First contract was taken off, stopped out to the downside for a T1 minus 2, and then a quick another extension to the downside, targets 1 and targets 2 for 7 ticks. So right here, by the time that news came out, from 10 o'clock up until 10:05, there was 4 signals. That is extreme volatility. In fact, in the room, we just backed off, and we were not taking advantage of any of these signals. We just backed off and waited for the volatility to settle down. We then started getting a push to the upside after 10:05. That set up another extension long, targets 1 and targets 2 for 13 ticks, as the market pushed through the open and continued to climb. And at this point, it looked like they were going to make a run for the half gap, but right around 10:20, you can see the market sold off hard, went into another extension short, targets 1 and targets 2 for 7 ticks to the downside on that move. Found support at the Globex low, bounced, came back through the moving average, set up a signal long, targets 1 and targets 2 for 7 ticks to the upside at 10:30. Came back down through our moving average. It looked like this was where the market was actually going to find some resistance and roll over. And what happened? Boom, a full stop out, T0 minus 14, which immediately went into an extension long, targets 1 and targets 2 for 12 ticks to the upside. And then you can see they did fill their 4 o'clock half gap level, went right up into their 4:15 full gap. Little bit of resistance at the 10:45 confirmation time, pulled back, and then ultimately busted up and filled that gap. So they did fill their gap this morning right after 10:45. The market was all over the place. We were down, we were up, we were down, and these signals were fast and furious, and they were extensions coming back and forth. Now you can see with these 2 accelerated moves, another fast move to the downside, and this particular move, as it came back to our moving average, again ran right over us, T0 minus 14. This time they pushed up past the previous day's low and hit the 4 o'clock close to the tick, so they filled both the 4 and 4:15 gaps, set off another signal. This time it was a target 1 with a stop out, so that ended up as T1 minus 2, came down through our moving average, set up a signal to get short. That did produce targets 1 and targets 2 for 9 ticks, and we finished the morning session right at about where we closed the day yesterday on the 4:15 time frame. Now the red area you see on the chart, this is the lunchtime dead zone. It goes from 11:30 to 1:15. We do not initiate any new trades because of the lighter volume that's typically there and the heavier volatility, although I'm not sure you could get much more volatile than we had this morning. But coming out of lunchtime, the market was pushing down once again, and it wasn't until we had this little push up at 1:45, there was kind of a reset of signals. There was not a valid entry long, but it did set up an entry short. That produced targets 1 and targets 2 to the downside for 7 ticks, followed by a signal long as it came back to the moving average. This one, first contract was off, T1 minus 2, quick move to the downside, set up an extension, targets 1 and targets 2 for 7 ticks as it pushed down. And then the market came in right about this 2:30 time frame, and which is typically indicative of a reversal. And just before that, the market started moving up, gave a nice signal entry to the long side, and what do you get? A full stop out, T0 minus 14, as it came back down through its moving average. It did give us a signal short, targets 1 and targets 2 for 13 ticks to the downside. And if you're watching the market after 3 o'clock, you know that it busted through the moving average right about 3:30 and just went screaming to the upside, and actually pushed all the way up past the daily pivot and made it as high as 1975. So just, you know, a huge move, 40 plus points off of these lows that we were putting in before 3 o'clock. So an extremely volatile day, quite a lot of trades, 18 trades, that's just a ton, and ended up with 52 ticks if you're able to stay with all that. But the market was fast, there was a lot of extensions in there, very, very difficult day, and not something we would typically see in the marketplace. So I want to thank you for watching. For more details on this plan, including all the chart setups, or to join our live trading room and video newsletter, please visit EminiJunkie.com or just simply click the link at the top of the screen. Thanks, and make it a great day.